Who are these people?
Please like, share. If you're new to us, welcome. We're very glad that you're here for probably more summer than usual stream. And as I said earlier, now that we're monetized now, we are able to get super chats now. But any super chats that we do get tonight, will go towards Poushawn's GoFundMe. You can also find the link in the description if you want to give to the GoFundMe more directly.
Nice.
But at minimum, please share this stream. As I promised Tina, who we're going to hear from next, who's going to give her talk regarding, her sister and the memory that she has for her. So,
yeah,
I'm ready when you are.
Whenever. So you want to cue this up a little bit?
So yeah, as I said, this is Tina Brown. So this is Poushawn's sister. So obviously having to, kind of live on the legacy of her sister and, having to kind of fight Amazon right now in light of what happened to her. So
yeah,
she'll explain better than I possibly could.
Cool.
So.
First, I want to thank you guys. Okay, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. The support, just seeing everybody here, it reminds me of when we were in New York. Everyone that came out to support. I want to apologize in advance. I'm not feeling too well. Today, 2 years ago on this day, I lost my sister. I said I wasn't going to cry today because this is a celebration. It took me a long time to say celebration because when you celebrate something, it seems like you're happy about it. I'm not happy about the death of my sister. But like I said, to this day, 2 years ago, my sister died. 15 minutes from here, she worked at Amazon DDC3 location. And I don't know if you guys know the story, but I'm going to tell it. I'm going to continue to tell the story to people who know, people who don't know. My sister worked in Springfield at the DDC3 location. I also worked there. She started in 2018. She started off as a driver. From a driver, she went to Fresh. From Fresh, she went to Prime. Then she went to the warehouse, DDC3. And for those 2 years, she was on the night shift as a sorter. And then in April of 2020, March 2020, COVID came. Between March and May, my sister complained vigorously to Amazon about the unsafe conditions of the warehouse and scared with the COVID, still having to work, the threatening of not having any PTO, being fired. So in June, they sent her a letter and said because she was such an outstanding employee and they appreciated her caring and compassion for the warehouse, they were going to be moving her to the COVID safety department. And therefore, she was a safety champion. And her job was entitled to take temperatures, tell people to stand 6 feet away from each other, make sure everyone had masks. So from June until around April, because like I said, I worked there. Amazon, Jeff said that he was going to have its own COVID testing center. We didn't think anything about it. We didn't know what it was. We started in the news, we heard around the warehouse, but never would I have thought that Amazon employees, us, just single individuals, just came there to be night sorters, package handlers. We are COVID testing. So my sister was illegally COVID testing. She was instructed to illegally COVID test, and she was trained by another Amazon employee to stick a Q-tip swab in the nose to do a COVID test with no proper PPE, with no gloves, no mask, just a regular Amazon check mask inside the warehouse. My sister COVID tested illegally for Amazon against the CDC and FDA regulations. Amazon had, at that time and now, enough money in the world world to hire doctors, nurses to come out. My sister was not a doctor, she was not a nurse, she was not an LPN, an RN, or a CNA. She had nothing to do with the medical field. She had a degree in human resources. None of that was ever explained to her. So I want to say this. Someone called me this last week and they said, you shouldn't say when your sister worked for the company that she did every shift in the warehouse and that she loved that company. And I'm going to say the truth. I'm always going to say it. I'm always going to speak the truth. No matter how I feel about Amazon, my sister was a loyal, she was a faithful, she was a dedicated, a devoted employee. She worked every shift in that warehouse. And you know how she worked every shift? It's because she knew the warehouse. I only worked one shift, and that was my shift. My sister never said no. She never said no. She came in early, she stayed late. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm always going to say the truth. For 2 years now, I feel like I and Chris, we have marched around this world speaking about my sister and the injustice that's done on her, the indirect murder from Jeff Bezos' Amazon, forcing my sister to illegally COVID test when there was no vaccination out. This virus killed millions of people. I have no clue what he was thinking. And on January 8th, 2021, as I go back to this day, as I stood over my sister, and I keep thinking to myself, did I do everything? When I made that first call to her that Friday morning, that second call, I should have sent somebody the second time she didn't answer the phone. I should have sent somebody the third. But I had to keep it. Did the EMTs do everything that they supposed to do? Did they do? I keep replaying it back as a prisoner in my mind is because my sister was always on time. She was never late. I'm always late. But she was always on time. And that first phone call, by the time she didn't answer the phone, the second phone call, I should have sent somebody. I should have sent someone. I shouldn't have waited until the third time to call her. But I have to go, like my grandma said, to the root. Whether I send somebody at the second, first, third, or the EMTs did their job or not, the root of the problem is Jeff Bezos having employees that had no medical profession illegally COVID test. They had no business being put in harm's way. And to think that it's 2 years now, and I'm still speaking and talking about the injustice done on my sister, is disgusting. But today, I'm going to celebrate my sister. I'm thankful all of you guys came out. And Dukes, I told you on that day, before they took you to the morgue, I'm going to keep every promise. I remember everything you told me. I got your back, your front, your side. I got everything. I am your keeper. I'm going to keep every promise I made to you as long as I have a breath in my body and even after that. And I'm going to say to you that justice is this year. Justice is coming. And I mean that. And everyone here has to know that. So I want to say I love you. I miss you. It's not a day that doesn't go by. I do not think about you. I'm telling you, I'm not going to leave no stone unturned, no paper not filed. I'm going to get justice for you. And I love you so much. Please keep me. Please keep me safe. Please hold me. Please protect me. Please continue to watch me and have my back. And I know you're here. I know not in the physical, but I hear you talk to me. I see you in my dreams. And please continue to come see me in my dreams. Please talk to me. Please guide me. I love you so much. Thank you, guys.
I'm just sad, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like as Tina said, she wasn't a nurse. She wasn't a medical professional. She had no right to do what she did. But as Tina said, she had to do it in order to keep her job.
Right.
And it cost her life.
Yep.
So, and as I said, she left behind a teenage daughter who, like Poushawn left a daughter behind, who has to go on without her mom in light of doing what she had to do in order to sustain a living, to support her family. And I think that's what sucks the most about this.
Yeah.
Is this was a matter of survival. And I think at that time, I can kind of sympathize with that because, again, many of us were doing what we needed to do in order to just kind of keep going. And we didn't know the full effects of COVID yet,
Yeah.
but for many of us, like, we didn't have a choice to do certain things. Like, for me personally, I didn't particularly want to get the vaccine due to personal reasons.
Yeah.
But because I'm a teacher, and part of the thing, especially with my union, like a lot of other teachers in my district, they were asking us to come back to work in person. I'm trying to remember the years now. The winter of 2021. This was just when the vaccine just started to come available. And part of my, like, in order to go to work, I had to get vaccinated. There was a point where I could have been able to, get weekly COVID testing, but, that's like a job and a half to do, having to take time off of work to find a place. And for my case, having to stand in line for God knows how long, to get COVID tested. Rapid tests weren't really a thing yet. Taking time out of your day in order to do that. And then eventually, my district was like, no, everyone needs to be vaccinated now. Like,
Yeah.
we're removing that option for you to get weekly testing. So,
Well, and the problem with this was, they had to continue to make money. Like that's
right.
That's the way Amazon felt. They had to keep the machines running, yada, 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 at the cost of human blood. Essentially.
Mhm.
Like, that is expendable to them. It's classic capitalism exploiting the pain and suffering of others for profit.
Right.
So,
speaking of exploiting,
yes.
so I wanted to play this next clip, not relate, but it relates. So this is from Angela Davis. And so let's see what she has to say, regarding capitalism.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I can't hear it.
How about this?
Much of what has been said about communism in this country is simply not true. The reason I am a communist is because I feel that only through a total revolution, which is going to overthrow the capitalist control of the economy, which will seize the wealth from all of the giant corporations that exploit and control the lives of all working people, but particularly black people. And see, I feel that the reason why racism is so blatant and has been a part of the history of black people from the time we were first kidnapped from the shores of Africa is because it has helped those capitalists gain more and more profit. And if you look at any factory, any plant, who does the worst jobs? Who gets paid the smallest salaries? It's black people. So racism serves as a buttress, as a justification for super exploitation. And I feel that if we're going to talk about the total liberation of black people, we first have to liberate ourselves from the material conditions of our oppression. And the material conditions of our oppression are no jobs, or bad jobs, unemployment, bad housing, bad medical care, and all of the kinds of things that will be eradicated under socialism.
So get rid of the capitalism and you might live, pretty much.
Right.
Okay. Like,
I mean, I mean, we've preached this, but I
Yeah.
think, I think just kind of bringing this in context, like, I didn't play, I thought about putting the clip and I probably should have, but, Malcolm X's famous quote, like, the most disrespected person in this world is the black woman.
Yeah.
I think especially going with Poushawn's case, like, heavily exploitation, but a lot of it is tied to race as well. Black people typically get paid less, have better outcomes, in terms of housing, medical care, education, you name it. Like, it's all there. And so again, it's just this idea of like this despair and having to, again, to kind of do what you need to do in the name of helping the elites make profit, as you said earlier. And that's a system that needs to change. In terms of, we talked about this a lot, like last year, just having, to seize the means of production, whatever that means, and we said this, I think we've even said this in our Substack. Yeah, like the idea of unionization, I think, is a good first step.
Yeah, but it's the first step.
But right,
Yeah.
it's the first step.
When did you think
ultimate? Go ahead.
That Angela Davis clip was? What year was that, you think? I looked. I couldn't see it on the video.
Given the time frame, probably in the 70s.
Yeah, like 74, probably.
Probably around there.
But I mean, it just amazes me always that, like, both with other leaders that we have on the show frequently, that, like, it's still the same, like we've had the same problems essentially for years now. This is not the first, death by some capitalist who, is unwilling to give you your basic needs because it doesn't allow him to profit as much as possible, So, yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's like you were saying, even with unions, we continue to compromise, like, you can push for that cooperative and actually take the means of production back for yourselves while at the same time organizing for that said union that could accomplish that. So, but you have to organize over what you're for. I'm sure we'll get into that later. But anyway.
So speaking of organizing,
yeah.
So